Welcome back to WeConnect. Thank you very much for staying with us. And right here also with us is my guest today, Mr. Madhu Mathan. He's the Deputy General Manager of Air India. He looks after sales and marketing for this part of the country. Thank you very much, sir, for not going anywhere. Now, we were talking about airlines, big airlines. Now, my concern is that with so many budget carriers coming up more and more as we go along, do you finally see the death of some of these big airlines? How do you think they might survive?
You see, the budget airlines thrive in a certain zone. That is a flight of a duration of up to, I would say, 6 to 7 hours, not beyond. So that means you say flights within India. If you notice, they don't fly beyond. The reason is that for these longer duration flights, there are a lot of other factors which come into play where the legacy carriers have certain advantages. Now, typically a budget carrier just takes you from point to point.
True.
It doesn't have any alliance with any other carrier to carry you beyond that point. Now, the legacy carriers have got what we call as worldwide alliances.
Absolutely.
Like we have the Star Alliance.
Yes, that's
we
right.
have
One group.
Yes.
One alliance.
Similarly, there is One World,
yes,
of which British Airways is a part. So these alliances will offer a ticket, a seamless ticket to a passenger, whereby he can start his travel from a remote corner of the globe and go all the way crisscrossing the globe, taking perhaps 3, 4 or 5 flights with a single seamless ticket. Right. Now, this is something which a budget carrier cannot do. They just carry you from point to point.
Yes. But having said that, what's the problem? I mean, you can still go on a budget carrier from A to B and then go on one of the big airlines because the budget carrier doesn't go beyond that and just change. I mean, I know there's some inconvenience related to actually taking your luggage off and doing stuff like this, but still, I don't see that as a major issue. Do you?
The issue is that, see, the budget carrier doesn't take any responsibility or liability beyond that sector you are flying on the budget carrier.
So you say if they're late, it won't...
if you are late, then you are left to fend for yourself. Whereas, if you're taking the ticket on a legacy carrier or a alliance of legacy carriers, they are responsible. Even if you miss a flight, they will put you up in a hotel or put you on the next flight. It's their responsibility to make sure that you reach your final destination, not each destination, but the final destination.
Right. We've already got so many budget carriers. Do you think there is scope? Do you think there is room for more?
Absolutely. I would give you the example of India and China. Now, India with a population of about 1.2 billion, we have about 275 commercial aircraft in the country. China with a marginally higher population, 1.3 billion compared to our 1.2 billion, they have almost 1,000 aircraft, 3 times the number of aircraft.
Huge difference, huge
so
difference.
That shows you the potential for air travel in India. I'll also give you one more example. Now, on a typical day on the Indian skies, on the domestic market, there are about 1,20,000 passengers flying, and there are about 1,50,000 seats being offered. Now, the next category is where there's a huge market potential. That is the long distance air-conditioned rail traveler. There are 1,20,000, that is almost equal to the number of air passengers.
Yes.
There are 1,20,000 rail travelers traveling in higher air-conditioned classes. Now, this is that huge segment. If the fare becomes a bit attractive, they'll migrate upwards to air travel.
That's right. It's not that much more expensive really,
yes,
to take budget travel. Have you actually found from your experience that this is actually happening? Have you noticed it?
We do. What most of the airlines offer is something called Apex fare, that is the advance
yes,
purchase fare. Now, if you buy this fare about say 1 month in advance or 2 weeks in advance, the fare is very, very close to your second AC rail fare. So, you put in another 500 rupees or 600 rupees, you can fly instead of taking that long 48-hour train journey. So, we find a lot of people migrating from rail travel to air travel.
Right. There was a conference in Europe, and one of the West European CEOs, one of the airlines, he actually mentioned that the way to go for airline marketing was in fact the social media, you know, Facebook and Twitter and these sort of things. Now, do you see that actually happening? Do you see how much of it is actually happening?
Yes. Social media holds tremendous potential,
Really?
but it is a double-edged sword.
Why do you say that?
The reason is that it is also a medium by which passengers, your customers, can give vent to their fury. So if you look at some of the social media, the passengers openly express their displeasure also. They do express their approval, but also their disapproval.
It's more fashionable to grumble anyway than to praise.
So you must answer all those.
Right.
And it's open to the public. Everybody is seeing what everybody is saying, you know, about your airline. So you must be able to take that criticism in your stride and answer those people and answer convincingly.
It's also a way of somehow making the airline actually pull up its socks. Wouldn't you think
Yes,
that
absolutely.
it's a good, I mean, criticism of that kind is okay. There's no problem with that.
Absolutely. This constructive criticism,
Yes.
this dialogue which happens through the social media is very good. In the olden days, what I was talking about
Yes.
learning and unlearning, in the olden days they used to send you a letter, and then you receive the letter, then
And you
reply
complain,
back.
I didn't like the food, I
Yes.
didn't like my seat, whatever.
Yeah. See, today basically, you know, India is a young country. By 2025, our average age will be less than that of China, less than that of US, less than that of any Western country. So we are a young country, and youngsters are in a hurry.
Yes.
They have no time to sit down and write
They're
a letter to you.
impatient.
They like to interact with you on social media and get a reply on the spot.
What's more, they may not even take any nonsense, really.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah.
Now, talking about, let me go back to the profile of customers that we were talking about. Yes, nowadays customers, they are somewhat different. Do you see that this profile that we're talking about here will actually continue into the future? What do you see as a future for, in terms of the kind of passengers, the kind of people who travel?
I see air travel becoming more and more affordable to a large number of people. You know, some of these flights, if you see, the other day I was taking a flight from Bangalore to Trivandrum. If you look around, the profile of passengers are mostly software professionals and their parents. You know, when the weekend, they are able to afford sending a ticket to their parents, and the parents are able to come, visit them
That's a
and
nice
go
thing.
back. It's a very good thing.
Yeah.
So you find that is one, youngsters traveling, not only youngsters, they're also making their parents travel. The parents are able to go and see. And one very interesting thing, Jennifer, is that even though they say that with video conferencing and all that, you know,
Yeah.
when video conferencing came, people said this is the death knell of air travel.
Air travel.
But I tell you, it's not so at all. There's nothing to beat that actual face-to-face contact.
True.
Despite video conferencing and all other media.
Right. Well, once again, time for a break. And of course, you, my viewers out there, please don't go anywhere, because we have much more to offer you in the last segment of this show.